Okay, so whilst we're waiting for people to arrive, make sure you've got yourself a glass of water, but just in case you get thirsty. So yeah, let's just get started, and then everyone can join in as and when they arrive. Okay, so we're going to start as usual with our feet hip distance apart. To find that, you can feel around, find the actual hip bone, point your fingers down. You want your big toe to be underneath your hip bone, so you're sort of pointing at your big toe. We want our legs to be nice and loose. So if you're able to have straight legs and you don't get a load of tension creeping in, then that's amazing, well done. Some people, like me, find that when I have my legs completely straight, they kind of clench, they sort of tighten up, and I find it very difficult to kind of relax them. So I always try and just have my knees just slightly bent, so just nice kind of soft knees. So my legs still kind of look straight, but you know, they're just slightly bent, and that way I just avoid all that tension kind of creeping into my legs. We want to try not to clench our bum, just everything nice and loose. We've got a string coming out of the top of our head, so we're imagining that we're a marionette puppet, and that's holding up our head. So that helps to elongate our spine, so nice long neck, shoulders down, and we're just gonna swing from our hips and just keep up, make sure there's nothing that you can crack into. Don't want to hit your hands on anything. So we're just swinging from our hips, nice relaxed arms, and they're just gonna sort of flop round with the momentum of the swing. So we're not moving our arms, we're just allowing them to flap round like this. Very good. And the reason to do this, it should hopefully just help to warm us up a little bit, shake out the creases, just kind of get the blood flowing. Very good, very good. Okay, so shake it out. Okay. So each week I'm choosing a different body part to focus on, because everybody holds tension in their body somewhere, and we all have our different sort of specific places. There are some obvious places that a lot of people always hold tension, things like shoulders, generally joints tend to be tense, the big jaw muscle here, especially if you grind your teeth. Top tip, by the way, if you do grind your teeth, apparently it is not just a sort of stress thing. That sometimes happens if you're a bit dehydrated. So if you do grind your teeth regularly, maybe drink a bit more water and see what happens. Okay, so we've been sort of traveling down the body a little bit. We've kind of got to our hip area. So what we're going to do is we are going to bend our knees now, and we're just going to rock our hips forward, then back to the center, then back to the center, forward, center, back, center, forward, center, back, center. And like all the exercises we do, you know, it's okay to be out of your comfort zone because we're trying to stretch, but if it hurts or you're overdoing it in some way, then obviously just do it a bit more gently or sit this exercise out. Okay, so now we're just going to not stop in the middle, and we're just going to go straight through, just forward and back, nice and smooth. And like when we were doing the ribcage exercises, this is an isolation exercise. So hopefully what we're aiming to do is keep everything else in our body completely still, and it's just our hips that are moving forward and back. And I'll just come to the center. So keep your knees nice and bent, and we're just going to go right, center, left, center. We want to again try and keep everything else nice and still. Some people find it easier if you actually put your hands on your hips to sort of feel what's going on, or you can just have your hands by your side, nice and relaxed. And now we're going to not stop in the middle, we're just going to go straight through, left, right, very good. Now I'm going to come back to the center, and we're going to make a box shape. So bend knees again. We're going to go forward, right, back, left, forward, left, back, right, forward, right, back, left, forward, left, back, right. Very good. Forward, right, back, left, forward, left, back, right. And come back to the center. Now we're just going to circle it. So again, it's like the box, but nice and smooth in one direction. And again, just trying to keep everything else nice and still if we can. And back the other way. Very good. Okay, and now come back to standing. We'll just shake it all out. Very good, very good. Okay, we're gonna get back into our comfortable position, feet hip distance apart. Nice loose knees, nice straight back, long neck, shoulders down. Now we're gonna just focus a little bit on breathing. So the way we're gonna breathe is we're gonna push with our diaphragm to squeeze the air out of our lungs. Then we're gonna relax, drop the diaphragm, and just allow the air to flood back in. So rather than what a lot of people think about when, you know, if you say take a nice deep breath or anything like this, and people think about actively taking in a breath and then to relax, to sigh out the breath. We're doing the opposite of that. So the muscular part, the bit where we're working and pushing, is to squeeze the air out of our lungs, push the diaphragm, engage the muscle and all our strength to push out the air, then relax to drop the diaphragm. So it's the reverse. The relaxing part is to drop the diaphragm and just allow the air to flood back in. So that's how we want to breathe, and we're going to add some arm movements in a minute, which will reflect that. When we breathe out, we're going to bring our hands up like this, representing the diaphragm pushing the air out of the lungs. Then when we relax and drop the diaphragm, we're going to relax and drop our hands down. Then we're going to bring them up, which will represent the rib cage expanding as our lungs fill with air. So first we're just going to get into a nice little rhythm. We're going to bend and straighten our legs, no jerky movements, just nice and relaxed, just bend and straighten, nice and smooth. And on the up is when we take in the breath, and on the up is when we breathe out as well. So everything happens on the up. The bending is just a sort of and, so it's like and out and in, and push with the diaphragm and relax and very good. So we'll add the arms in a sec. And out and in, and out and in, and we'll go to the side on the next one. Very good, and shake it out. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of box breathing. So I still want you to try and think about, as you breathe in, dropping the diaphragm, relaxing, and as you breathe out, pushing with the diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs. It's called box breathing because we're going to breathe out for 4, hold it for 4, breathe in for 4 and hold it for 4. So it's a sort of box idea. That's why we call it box breathing. So it's a little bit more controlled on the in-breath rather than just sort of dropping, and we're still going to control so that it takes 4 counts to breathe in. But I still, if you've got the kind of mind where you can visualize and picture things in your mind, I always want you to try and think of your lungs filling with air as your diaphragm drops, and then being squeezed when the diaphragm pushes upwards. Some people are a bit squeamish, so if you want to think like balloons instead of lungs, or whatever works for you is absolutely fine. If you're not able to visualize it, that's fine too. Let me know if there's a little trick that you do to help. Everybody's mind works in a different way. So whatever way you can kind of think it as well as physically doing it, that's great. And if you want to put your hand just lightly on your rib cage, so that you're not really affecting it, but you're just able to feel with your hands as your rib cage expands, or whatever works for you. Okay, so I'll just talk it through. So we're going to go in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Okay, shake it out. And a nice big yawn and a stretch. So that feeling when you yawn with the nice open throat, if you're able to, some people can naturally, some people find it a very strange thing to do. But for singing and sometimes even for public speaking, just to be able to have that nice open throat. Yes, thanks Simon. Yeah, when we get to the next exercise, I'll talk through that as well. So yeah, the nice sort of open throat, that's a good position to remember your throat being in. And if you do struggle to kind of find that position in your throat, you can just yawn a little bit to find it. So in general, from a singing perspective especially, unless you're with company and it would be impolite, try never to stifle a yawn. If you feel that yawn coming on, do it, because it's very good exercise for your throat. So we are going to get into our comfortable position, feet hip distance apart, nice long neck. If you want to sit down at this point, just have a chair, and then so you're going to get into the good standing position, and then just kind of sit down, put your weight on your nice sort of sitting muscles, and then just keep everything else in the same sort of position. Don't cross your legs. I think most people like to stand up, or if you want to lie semi-supine like we did last week, that's a very good position as well. So we are going to do some breathing exercises where we're going to push with our diaphragm. We're going to find a spot on the wall that is roughly our own eye level, and that way we don't have to be sort of looking down or up and that, affecting our posture. We're going to channel the air to that spot, like this, pushing with the diaphragm, push, 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 push. When you get to the end of the breath, I want you to push a little bit more. You'll be amazed. You think there's nothing left, but there almost always is. Sometimes it helps if your diaphragm isn't very strong to actually give a little squeeze just of those bottom ribs to give it a little bit of help. So then when you finally got rid of all the breath, I want you to just try and hold it for a second or two, as long as you can, and then you're just going to relax, drop the diaphragm and just allow the air to flood back in. So you're not gonna take in a breath, you're just gonna relax and trust, you know, the air is gonna come back in automatically. So you start whenever you want. I'm gonna continue talking. So what Simon was reminding me as well is another sort of imagery thing, you know, like bellows where they used to blow on a fire. I've got some, I'll bring them next time if I remember. And so basically you sort of push the thing and it blows the air out, and then when you open it, the air comes back in. So if you were to just let it drop, then the air's going to come back in like it's a sort of almost like a syringe or hydraulic system where you push to squeeze out the air, and then you just relax, it drops, and the air will come back in automatically. So that's kind of what we're trying to do with this breathing. So try not to hold back on any of the air, because you think it will make your breath last longer. It's not really, that's not the point of this exercise, it doesn't really work. What tends to happen is that then you sort of breathe in a bit more, and then breathe in a bit more, and then you're sort of breathing air on top of air because you need to breathe in more oxygen before you've got rid of all the air, and then you start hyperventilating basically. So the point is to just try and push, get rid of all the air, then push a little bit more, then hold it, hold, then relax, drop the diaphragm, and just allow the air to flood back in. Very good. So come to the end of whatever breath you're currently on, and then we're going to switch to a shh sound. So all the while we're just pushing, push a bit more, hold, then relax, drop the diaphragm. Very good. So come to the end of whatever breath you're currently on. We just have another little shake out. Get back into our comfortable position, whether we're sitting, standing, lying in semi-supine. If you don't know what that is, if you weren't here last week, you're just lying on the floor on your back with your knees up in the air pointing to the ceiling. And you want your back to be nice and flat on the floor. So if you need a book under your head to help to just get that spine to straighten out a little bit, that's absolutely fine. It's a very good position to be in for your posture. I haven't got my book here, otherwise I'd probably do it now. But anyway, so we're just going to get into our comfortable position. Find your spot that's eye level to you. So obviously if you're lying on the floor, it will be on the ceiling, but everybody else somewhere on the wall. Then I want you to just close your eyes, and we're just going to breathe completely normally now. You can breathe through your nose, your mouth, whatever's comfortable, combination of both. But what I do want you to be concentrating on is pushing with your diaphragm to squeeze the air out of your lungs, then relax, drop the diaphragm, easy for you to say, like the bellows, so pushing to squeeze the air out, then drop, and the air just comes flooding back in. So ideally we never want to actively take in a breath, we just want to allow the breath to come back in, and then the bit where we activate our muscularity is to push to squeeze out the air. So you're just going to get into your own rhythm. You don't have to hold it in between breaths or anything. We're just going to relax and breathe. And if you're able to, again with your mind's eye, to visualize the lungs getting squeezed as the diaphragm pushes, and then the rib cage expanding as you drop and relax, or think of the balloons if you're squeamish, or the bellows, or a syringe, or whatever imagery works for you. If you're not able to sort of visualize it in your mind, whatever way that your mind is able to think about it, just try and have it in your mind as well as your body, and just breathe basically. And now I want you to continue to push with your diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs, then relaxing, dropping the diaphragm, just allowing the air to flood back in. Now I want you to listen to whatever sounds you can hear outside the room that you're in. So there might be somebody shuffling around upstairs, there might be birds in the garden, there might be cars driving past. It might be completely silent where you are. Then you'll listen to the silence. And there might be other sounds happening in the room you're in. There might be other thoughts and stresses and planning for the week ahead that's going on in your mind. You can't block it all completely, but you're not going to listen to that, and it will gradually just melt away, because you're going to just listen to whatever sounds you can hear outside the room that you're in. And all the while you're going to push with your diaphragm to squeeze the air out of your lungs, then relax, drop the diaphragm, and just allow the air to flood back in. Very good. So now I want you to continue pushing with your diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs, then relaxing, dropping the diaphragm, just allowing the air to flood back in. Now I want you to take a step closer with your mind's eye, and I want you to just listen to whatever sounds you can hear inside the room that you're in. So there might be a clock ticking, there might be a tap dripping, it might be completely silent, and then you're going to listen to the silence, and all the while you're going to push with your diaphragm, squeeze the air out of your lungs, then relax, drop the diaphragm, and just allow the air to flood back in. you to continue pushing with your diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs, then relaxing. Dropping the diaphragm, just allowing the air to flood back in. Now I want you to take another step closer with your mind's eye. And now I want you to just listen to your own body. So you might be able to hear your heart beating. You might be able to hear yourself breathing. You might be completely silent. Then you're going to listen to that silence. And all the while you're going to continue pushing with your diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs, then relaxing, dropping the diaphragm and just allowing the air to flood back in. Very good. So now I want you to continue pushing with your diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs, then relaxing, dropping the diaphragm, allowing the air to flood back in. Now we're going to put those three things together. So I want you to listen to your own body, I want you to listen to the room that you're in, and I want you to listen to the world beyond the room that you're in. And I want you to feel the connection with the space, your body in this space, in this time. I want you to feel your presence and feel yourself present in this moment. And all through pushing with your diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs, then relaxing, dropping the diaphragm and just allowing the air to flood back in. good, everybody. So now, very slowly in your own time, I just want you to open your eyes, take a little look around, just feel yourself in this space. Excellent, well done everybody, excellent session. So, we are going to finish, as we always do, with a little sing-song. I've not actually prepared something for this week. I know that Simon suggested a really good song and I've not got around to organising the chords for it or anything, so let me just... Okay, I think we're going to do No, 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 just because I've not got the lyrics in the description this week, but it's quite repetitive lyrics-wise, so you can just follow me and yeah, we'll give it a go. I think most people know this song anyway, so hopefully you'll be able to sing along. So whilst we're singing, if not you can just sing la. We're going to try and squeeze with our diaphragm to squeeze out the words or the la's, and then relax, drop our diaphragm, just allow the air to flood back in. No, 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 you don't love me, and I know now. Thank you, Simon. No, 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 you don't love me, and I know now. Because you left me, baby, and I got no place to go now. No, 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 I'll do anything you say, boy. No, 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 I'll do anything you say, boy. And if you asked me, baby, I'd get on my knees to pray, boy. Very good, well done everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate that. I will be back tomorrow and every weekday at 11 AM Greenwich Mean Time. So hopefully I will see you again soon. And please do tell anybody else that you know who might enjoy or get something out of these sessions. In the meantime, have a great Monday, have a great week. Hopefully I will see you again soon. Lots of love and keep breathing. Bye.